Today I want to talk about the college search process, but particularly one specific aspect of it. As we are working with especially juniors at this point in their process, we're encouraging them to get out there and explore and see a wide variety of schools, looking at different sizes, different types of settings, different distances from home even, different types of programs, those kinds of things, so that they are really, hopefully, looking for their best fit. That is what we are encouraging them to do, and that's what we are trying to teach them how to do when they take their college visits. However, what often happens in this process is that students sometimes lose sight of that, and that's okay. We are here to kind of help keep the guardrails on when it comes to that. But they often find reasons not to love a school because it is not perfect, because it is not the one. And so I want to talk about what I have to say in terms of all of that. But I think it's really important as adults who are helping them walk through this and navigate all of this to remind them repeatedly that no place is perfect. No place is going to tick every single box that is on your checklist. If it does, great. I mean, then by all means, it sounds like you have landed on the place that is the right fit 100%. But most of the time, for most students, there is going to be something that doesn't quite line up exactly like their list that they've created in their head in terms of what needs to be there for them. So what I tell students in this case, first of all, it's kind of like finding a partner in life. Nobody is perfect. So what are the things that you absolutely must have, and what are the things you're willing to compromise on? Because that is the only way that most of these types of relationships work, including finding the right school, because it isn't going to be perfect. And so as you're working or talking with your own students or children about it, think about helping them prioritize that list. What is going to be the most important factor for them and for you? Is it distance from home that is a non-negotiable, that you all need to have a particular radius that you're looking at? Is it cost, quite frankly? Is there a limit, and does that impact how the list gets made and how the choices of the colleges gets put together? Does it mean, or does a student need special kinds of learning support? And is that a top priority? Is it the major? Is it something so specific that it really only happens in a few certain places? And if so, obviously that might make that factor rise to the top for certain students. But I think helping them understand that, again, no place is perfect. One of my favorite questions actually to ask when I'm visiting colleges is, when I have a student tour guide, is to ask them, what's one thing you would change about this place? And a lot of times they try to say, there's really nothing, it's so great. But I've done this long enough that I will keep pushing and say, come on, there's got to be at least one thing. And sometimes it comes down to, it's parking. We have to park so far away, and that's inconvenient. Okay, well, great. There's at least something that you've been able to address with me that is maybe not perfect about your school. But that doesn't mean that they love them any less. And I think that's really important for juniors and even seniors and even sophomores as they're looking at colleges and trying to build their list or even make their choice about where they're going to attend. Just to keep in mind, we've got to look at what are the areas in which we can compromise. I want to take this even further into beyond list building. So now, say they've decided, and you're the parent or an adult who has somebody who's gone off and is in their first year of college. And oftentimes, that first semester is not always easy. And so we have to remind our students over and over again that, no, it's not perfect. No, maybe you haven't plugged into all the right connections just yet, and it doesn't feel probably like it did for you in high school, where you knew people, you had been there a while. In most cases, I realize that's not true for everybody, but also still encouraging them to remember their priorities and to think about why they chose the school in the first place. Granted, there are some times when it is just not going to be the right fit. We could do all the homework up front and think that we've landed in the right place, but that doesn't always pan out. And I understand that. But as a parent speaking to other parents and guardians who are guiding students through this, I think it's really important, especially in that first semester, to try to keep them on track, looking at the positives and focusing back in on that list that they created of priorities about why they chose the school, because it's so easy to say, it's not perfect, I'm not in love, and so I need to do something different. But I think they have to stick it out a little bit before they can make that decision. So the moral of the story overall is just that there is no one perfect place. I actually think students can be happy in multiple schools. I don't think it has to come down to just a top choice, but in their minds, a lot of times it does. But we want to keep encouraging them that even when it's maybe not their top choice, when we're looking at the second, third, or fourth choices, helping them remember that there are a lot of really great things that made that school, made us perhaps recommend it to them, and then also made them add it to their list. So we're not looking for perfection. We're looking for the right fit, finding the ways that students feel connected and supported and are going to be able to grow when they land at the place that is right for them. So hope this helps. And if there's anything we can do to walk through it with you, please reach out.